whywhywhy. Here are some basic screenshots to give you an idea of what we're working on. So ultimately, we want to help people discover and explore spirituality and philosophy based off of their personality and their interests. So first you continue and we ask you a bunch of onboarding questions like, what are you dealing with right now? Also, like, what is your personality like? There are more questions. These are just basic screenshots and drafts. And then according to your answers, we pair you up with a couple of ideologies, be it philosophical or spiritual. So here you're paired up with Buddhism, Eastern philosophies, existentialism, Sufism. So if you click on one, we give you an idea of how that religion works and what it's good for, what it's not really good for, and you get to decide. You can scroll through all of them, which one you want. But say we selected Buddhism, then we pair you up with a mentor. So in this case, we pair you up with the Buddha himself. And the Buddha also would recommend, like, if you're into Buddhism, maybe Taoism, maybe New Age, and you can explore these things at the same time or maybe later. So say we select Buddhism, then Buddha will have a bit of a conversation with us. Buddha knows about the situations that we're dealing with because of the onboarding questions. And they will suggest he will suggest a couple of different knowledge cards. So in this case, knowing that, this person might be going through chronic pain, then they would suggest a card saying, why do we fear death? So if you click on it, then there's some information on why we fear death. And lots of information. It takes about 5 minutes to read, and hopefully it would give some insight to the user. There's stuff about reincarnation, why thinking about death is important, what countries are Buddhist and talk about death all the time, like in Bhutan. And then also what other spiritualities could be interesting and what other cards could be interesting. So Sufism has a concept of dying before you die. Lots of cool stuff. Also podcasts, also books, really to get you to learn a little bit about what you were interested in. But if we go back a screen, so in addition to knowledge cards, there are also exercise cards. So in this case, we're being recommended to try mindfulness meditation, and there'll be information in there on how to do mindfulness meditation by yourself and suggestions on apps or even groups within where you live or close to where you live where you can learn a bit about mindfulness meditation. If you go over here to ask, we also share information that is more in a community aspect. We heard a lot of people say, we want community, we don't just want to learn. So this is where that comes into play. So there are discussion groups and public chats. You can also individually chat with all of the different mentors we have, be it AI Descartes or an AI version of Jesus, or all these like philosophical and spiritual greats is what we call them. But in addition to that, there are real groups with real people. So we'll have like a philosopher, sorry, not a philosopher, but like a mentor, like a human mentor who's very well versed on different religions, talk about death across religions. And this is like a 3-month session or 2-month session every Monday night. And you get to, video call with these people and talk about death across different religions to help you understand a bit more about that. Buddhism is the same. We'll probably get a Buddhist to sit with people, and whether it's meditating or actually discussing Buddhist concepts, there's this group that you can join, and also a Discord channel that then you can communicate with them through. And there's also public chats, and this is essentially many people chatting with a AI great, so we call it, at the same time. So here's a chat with Plato, here's a chat with Alan Watts, and you can see how many people are currently chatting. So for example, with Plato, Omar is asking about the cave analogy, Plato was responding, Sam is asking something, and you can ask something too. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for your help.